People say skinwalkers aren't real, that they're just stories meant to scare people away from the woods, from empty roads, from answering voices in the dark. But every story you're about to hear has one thing in common. Something was watching, something was listening, and something knew exactly how to sound human. These stories were shared online and rewritten for narration. If you hear your name tonight, no matter how familiar the voice sounds, do not answer. Story 1. I grew up in a small desert town where everyone warned you about the land once the sun went down. Not animals, not criminals, just the land itself. One night, my dad asked me to take the trash out behind the house. The yard backed directly into open desert. No fence, just sand and scrub. As I walked toward the bins, I heard my sister call my name from somewhere behind me. The problem was, my sister was sitting on the couch inside, watching TV. I froze and didn't answer. The voice came again, slightly louder, slightly closer, using the same impatient tone she always used when she wanted something. I slowly turned around and saw a tall shape standing near the brush. It didn't move, it didn't breathe, it just watched. Then it spoke again, this time perfectly copying my sister's laugh before saying my name. I ran back inside without looking behind me. That night, something walked circles around our house for hours. Whatever it was, it already knew our voices. Story 2. My girlfriend loved hiking trails that weren't popular. She said crowds ruined the experience. I always asked her to take me with her, but she insisted she was safer alone. The last hike she ever went on, she sent me pictures like normal. Trees, rocks, a selfie near a stream. Then one photo made my chest tighten. She was smiling at the camera, but her eyes looked unfocused, like she wasn't really there. I texted her asking if she was okay. She replied instantly, but the message felt wrong, short, flat, almost annoyed. An hour later, she still wasn't home. I drove to the trailhead and found her car parked exactly where she always parked it. As I followed the trail, I heard her voice call my name from deeper in the woods. It sounded tired, hurt, like she needed help. Then my phone buzzed. "I'm right behind you." I never turned around. I ran until my lungs burned. The police never found her, but sometimes, late at night, her number still tries to call me. Story 3. I lived in an apartment complex near an old canal path in Arizona. At night, the area felt empty, like sound itself avoided it. Around 2 a.m., I heard knocking at my door. Slow, careful, followed by a woman's voice asking me to open it. She said she was my neighbor. I checked my phone. No missed calls, no texts, no messages from anyone in the building. The voice repeated the same sentence again, exactly the same way, without any hesitation or change in tone. I looked through the peephole. There was a dog standing upright, one paw raised against the door, staring directly at me. The voice came again, closer now, like it was speaking directly through the door. I backed away and didn't make a sound until sunrise. The next morning, my neighbor told me someone had knocked on her door using my voice. Story 4. I was stationed alone in a remote research cabin for 3 weeks. I'd done assignments like this before and never felt uneasy until the animals stopped behaving normally. Every night, I heard elk calls near the cabin. Always the same call, always repeating. No responses from other elk. On the 4th night, something hit the side of the cabin hard enough to shake the walls. I looked out the window and saw a shape standing just beyond the light. Tall, thin, wrong. Then I heard a woman screaming for help somewhere nearby. It sounded real enough that my hand went to the door handle before my brain caught up. The scream repeated itself, same pitch, same length, same breath. That's when I realized it wasn't asking for help. It was testing me. The ranger who came the next morning told me to pack up immediately. Before leaving, he said one thing I'll never forget. It knows your voice now. Story 5. I used to drive long stretches of highway late at night for work. One evening, I saw hazard lights flashing on the side of a remote road and pulled over to help. The car was empty. No people, no movement, just footprints leading into the trees. I followed them, calling out to see if anyone needed help. A woman answered me from the darkness, crying and asking me to come closer. Something about her voice felt wrong, too clear, too controlled. Then I saw it. A tall figure standing beside her, watching me. The woman's voice suddenly changed and called my name, even though I hadn't told anyone who I was. I ran back to my truck and drove away without looking back. The next morning, the car was gone. So were the footprints. Some extra stories because I love you. Subscribe if you love horror. Let's go on with the other stories. I grew up in a rural town where the backyards faded straight into forest. No fences, no clear line between where people stopped and something else began. One night, my dad sent me outside to grab something from the shed. It was just after sunset, that quiet moment where the world feels like it's holding its breath. As I crossed the yard, I heard my mom call my name from the trees. Not yelling, not scared, just calm, normal. I answered back without thinking. Silence. Then she called again. Same tone. Same words. Same pause between syllables. Exactly the same. That's when I realized the lights were on in the house, and I could see my mom through the kitchen window, standing at the sink. My blood went cold. The voice came again, closer this time, from just beyond the tree line. Come here, I can't see you. I didn't answer. I backed away slowly, eyes fixed on the trees. I swear I saw something move between them, tall, thin, shifting unnaturally fast. When I finally got back inside, my dad locked every door without asking questions. That night, we heard footsteps circling the house. They stopped right outside my bedroom window. My girlfriend loved hiking alone. She said it helped her clear her head. I didn't like it, but I trusted her. The last time she went, she texted me photos like usual, smiling, peaceful. Then one photo made my stomach drop. She wasn't holding the phone. I asked who took it. She didn't respond. An hour later, I got a text that didn't sound like her. Short, cold, filled with emojis she never used. I tried calling. No answer. That night, she still hadn't come home. I drove to the trailhead. Her car was still there. Engine cold, keys inside. As I walked the trail, calling her name, my phone buzzed. You're close. I hear you. Then I heard her voice from the woods. Soft, familiar, saying my name exactly the way she always did. But it repeated the sentence again and again, without changing tone. I ran. The police never found her, just one shoe near the trail and her phone smashed against a rock. Weeks later, I got one final text from her number. I'm still here. I live in Arizona, not far from old desert land people warn you about if you grew up here. One night I heard knocking on my apartment door. Slow, polite. Then a woman's voice said my roommate's name and asked to be let in. The problem was my roommate was asleep on the couch next to me. The voice repeated itself. Same words, same timing, no emotion. I looked through the peephole. There was a dog standing upright on two legs, one paw raised like it had just knocked. It stared straight into the peephole. I felt it looking at me. The voice came again, closer now, right against the door. "Please open it." I didn't move. Neither did the thing outside. After almost an hour, the footsteps walked away slowly, dragging slightly, like it was struggling to move the body it was wearing. We moved out the next week. The new tenants lasted 3 months. I'm a wildlife researcher. I don't believe in monsters. I believe in patterns. That belief broke during a 3-week assignment in the mountains. The elk population had been declining. My job was to document the cause. On the 3rd day, I found a bull elk ripped open like something had used hands instead of teeth. That night, I heard elk mating calls right outside my cabin, over and over. Too perfect. Then something hit the side of the cabin, hard. When I opened the curtain just a crack, I saw a gray arm dragging along the wall, fingers too long, joints bent wrong. Then came the voice. A woman screaming for help, crying, begging me to come outside. It sounded real enough that I almost opened the door. Then the scream reset. Same pitch, same breath, same timing. I stayed inside until sunrise. When the ranger arrived, he told me they'd found deep claw marks on the cabin roof. Before leaving, he leaned close and whispered, "It knows you now. Don't come back." I never did. But sometimes when I'm alone at night, I hear elk calls in my dreams. That's all for tonight. If you want more Skinwalker stories, subscribe. New videos are coming soon. And remember, if something in the dark calls your name, do not answer. Good night.